Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I it's a new day over here at the Hanaka farm, and I am trying for the third time to do this video. I kept getting cut off by my phone saying that my iPhone storage was full. So sometimes when you're beating your head against the wall, it's just better to retreat and come back fresh the next day. This is day 3 of the 100-day challenge, and I think, well, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do for you, but I think what it's doing for me is spurring me on to keep coming up with new ideas or finally get to those ideas that I've had for a long time, but just haven't acted on yet. Because if you would have seen, day 1, day 2, day 79, whatever, it's like, well, that's great, but what have you done for me lately? So and again, take 3. So this is a challenge, and it turns out to be less of an instructive video than I'd hoped, because of course, once you bind something, you're not going to unbind it just for take 2 or take 3. So let me begin. What you see before you are things that I think a lot of us in this business gravitate to. Little tiny cute things that either appeal to us because of color or because of their possibilities. So I'll start with this one. This is clearly, I guess, intended as a wallet. I found it at a thrift store, and it was, oh my God, it was so overpriced. You can see that the workmanship is kind of sketchy, and that didn't appeal to me, but I did see the potential. So using all my willpower and all my inner strength, I walked away. But then, of course, when you're a regular at places, I happen to be there either on a half-price sale or a fill-a-bag for $5 sale, which is now probably fill-a-bag for $8. Anyway, this to me looks like a series of pouches with a zipper at each end, held together by a single row stitching. So it'll be very easy to deconstruct this. And luckily I didn't do that right before your very eyes in take 1, because I wouldn't have anything to talk about here. It's got the credit card wallets. It's got a closure. It's got a neutral enough cover that, can change it to any sort of a theme. So there's that. Then this one, these kind of rich, what I would call, jewel tone colors, purple and orange and pink. Those say East Indian to me, and they're colors that I love. This one would be, did I even say what this is all about? It's turning wallets and these kinds of products into journals. With the 2 folds, there are possibilities for adding a signature in each place. A lot of little pouches here that a person could add something to. 2 relatively big pockets, but as you can see, they're not very secure. And a zipper pocket. A window where a person could put either their contact information or an image of some sort. And that is something that still awaits my attention. So in take number 1, I worked on this. It's a brocade fabric wallet that has an Asian feel. Cute little snap closure. So basically what I did was, in that first video, I sewed in a signature. It's got this full pocket here. It had a pocket that allowed me to get my whole hand in right down to here. But of course, once I sewed the signatures in, that became a much shorter pocket. It's also got a zipper pocket, and it feels great to the touch. So what I had done was pulled together some pages out of my own digital stash. So this is some hard anger that I had scanned, some toile. This is one of my sort of neutral master boards. This was, I think, not a pillowcase, probably just an embroidered linen with a little fold out. This is this might, to be honest, this might even be the crocheted tablecloth that we got as a wedding present like 100 years ago. So there's that. This is a piece of, this is a scan of a piece of hard anger embroidery that I had done myself during my, red burgundy phase. So of course I'm attached to that. This is from my rose kit. This is a scanned cross-stitch pillowcase design. That's just some paper, and this is a scanned linen. I think I got this from a thrift store, and I just sort of fussy cut the scalloped edge there. I used, initially I'd hoped to use this Gutermann metallic thread. It wasn't strong enough to do the binding, so I went through my embroidery thread stash and I found this, deep maroon color that I think works perfectly. So I did all that, and then the video quit in mid-sentence. So what do? I then go to project number 2. This is something that I found in a thrift store. It's sort of papery, fabricy, I don't know what it is. And so in that second take of the video, I had dropped everything, pre-selected new papers, sort of with a kind of an Asian feel. And then I proceeded to sew it together so that you actually have something to see using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And I used this thread, got it who knows where, because I thought it was neutral enough. It wasn't going to interfere with the design. I was tying my 3rd knot when the thread broke. So now I'm going to throw this out the window. Well, not really, but I guess that's a happy accident, because now it gives me a chance to, for the 3rd time, sew this little thing closed. I have a couple of other choices here that would work. This is, what is this? Pearl cotton or crochet? Okay, they're calling it crochet thread in size 5. Size 5 is, no, I better not say that because I'm not sure anymore. I know that when we had our store, we sold a lot of pearl cotton, and we carried it in 2 sizes, 5 and 8. And I just can't remember now without looking at the actual spools. I just can't remember which was the thinner one. It was important to carry those things for people who were doing hard anger. And so I'm not going to cut the string off the ball. I also had decided that, I also did a little spiel, and maybe I should just repeat that. I was on a bit of a soapbox talking about the unfairness of gender pricing. So those of us who are women know that things can be virtually identical, like dry cleaning services. And if you're a woman, if it's a woman's blouse, it's going to cost more than if it's a man's shirt. Same thing with haircuts. Women will typically pay double, triple, quadruple of what a man's haircut will cost. Ladies' deodorant costs more than men's deodorant, and on and on and on. So the analogy I was trying to make is that you can, if you're just looking to buy your first bookbinding kit or supplies, you can probably source that you know, through a craft store or through a, you know, online merchant or whatever, and probably pay more than if you were to go to a hardware store and buy yourself a set of screwdrivers with an all included. And then you've got something for your very own toolbox, and you've got an all, and you didn't pay through the nose. I think that this one is this is a plastic handle, El Cheapo tool set for like a beginner's clay set of clay tools. I keep it handy here though because 2 separate points, 2 different diameters. I don't know where this came from. I don't know what it is, but it works very well. That's kind of a, you know, a reasonable sized shaft on it. And then these 2 things are here because of the look, the aesthetic, the feel. I believe that at least one of these belonged to my dad. It was in his sewing kit of leather tools. And for some occasions, it's the perfect tool to reach for. So anyway, the moral of the story is sort of, you know, be aware that sometimes if you shop around, you can save yourself some money. I don't need to poke those holes again because obviously I did it for the last video. I also decided that because, okay, I think I only have 7 pieces of paper in there because, of course, there is no real spine. So rather than bulk up this area here with a knot, which is where I would typically start on the inside and go out, I'm going to do the opposite. So let me do this again. I am using quite a sharp needle simply because on that other journal I showed you and on this one, I didn't want a blunt needle to, you know, to sort of wreck the fabric and maybe create a snag, especially in that damask looking one, or brocade, I mean. Okay, there we have it. So I went in from the outside, which means that, you know, wherever you start is where you're going to finish. I then went to the top, and again, it doesn't matter if you go top or bottom. Then on the outside, I bypassed the center, and I went to the opposite end. Now, sometimes the trickiest part, this wouldn't be so tangly here if I had cut the thread, but sometimes the trickiest part is doing this last step because, you know, the hole is small. It already has a thread in it. You want to get your needle in there one more time. You want to not puncture the thread and, you know, split the thread. That went quite easily, again, because it's been sewn once already. And then the big thing, well, let me take this needle off. I don't need it anymore. The big thing here is to make sure that you have one thread on either side of this center piece. So whether I made this up or it's really a proper technique, I don't know. Oh, let me cut this. I always pull in the opposite direction vertically, and then typically do 3 knots. One way, you know, left over right, right over left, however you want to do it. 2, and then a 3rd one just for good measure. So it was on the 3rd knot that, of course, the string broke. Now those threads are quite long, but I'm thinking because I'm on the outside of this thing, I could easily add some beads or maybe a charm of some sort that complements this subject matter. So I'm going to, for the time being, I'm going to leave them long. These oversized paper clips are great, except they have kind of a rough edge and very much would like to damage the paper or the fabric, especially this brass one. I think this little guy made that mark. Let's see if I can remove it. That maybe helped a bit. This looks like it might be a perfect location for a label. And then finally this last one. Now this is a better clip because it is plastic coated, so it's not going to do any damage. Okay, so let's see what I've got here. So this little Asian thing had this pocket and this pocket, and then of course these are the papers I selected. So this is part of just a printer, a package of printer paper with sort of a bamboo design. This has all kinds of currency on it, and there was something that looked kind of Asian on here. A page out of, I don't know, that's probably Japanese. This is part of a planner that I have that has some, Asian calligraphy on the side. Just a soft glue. This, which came on a pad off, this came in a pad, I think from Staples or Indigo or somewhere like that. It was just sort of I don't know, just a decorative pad of paper. And then, of course, here's the rest of that page. The other side of that, the Japanese paper, the currency, and that. So that is about as big as this thing can possibly be. I could, I suppose, put an elastic, like a gold stretch elastic around it to hold it closed, or a piece of, you know what, I have sari silk that is in sort of, might complement this orangey stuff here. Of course, I don't have it within reach, so I'll stop talking about that. Anyway, my camera's still running. Woohoo! This is it for today, because I've pretty well run out of things to, unless how long have we been at this? Oh, I guess I have a couple of minutes more I could spend. Where's my seam ripper? I was going to say I could start ripping this seam. Except I can't. Oh, there it is. I hope that you are well. I hope that you have decided. I'm sure you can't see any of this. It's white on white. I hope that you, if you haven't already done so, that you consider starting your own 100-day project. I think that you will find that it's a fun challenge, because of course you're not accountable to anyone, other than yourself, if you choose to put that kind of pressure on yourself. Anyway, I've sort of, as I think of ideas, I make a note of them, because I'm sure the day is going to come when I'm going to say, oh, okay, now what? And it'll be sort of panic time. I'm also pre-taping a bunch of these and sort of creating a slush pile of videos, so that when life gets in the way, as it is wont to do, I am not, I'm not stuck, and I'm not leaving you in the lurch. So there will be hopefully some interesting content each day. Some of it will be, things you've seen before but maybe haven't seen me do before. Other topics that I have planned include using things that I've bought, and usually, not things that I set out to buy, although there's some of that too. but things that maybe fell into my grasp through grab bags, thrift purchases, you know, an online thing that, an online auction that, you know, where you bid on a box and you get the whole works, and then, okay, now make this work. So so I intend to pull out some of those things and make that the topic of the day, using those things. Some of them will have had their heyday already, like gelatos. I certainly missed that the first time they came around, but when I found a bag full of them, you know I wasn't going to leave them behind. So now I've got these gelatos. So I'm going to be using those in a video, and so on and so on. I will continue to do this on my own time, and I'll let you go. I will do my typical closing spiel. It's gratifying to see my subscriber list growing, albeit maybe not as quickly as I'd hoped for. But if you've already subscribed, thank you. If you are considering subscribing, I hope you fall to the side of saying yes. If you are a subscriber, I hope that you consider hitting the notification bell so that every time there is content uploaded, it gets into your feed or into your notifications. And yeah, we'll continue to keep plugging along here. And I hope that you stay well, and I hope you keep crafting, and I hope that you start a 100-day project, because it will, I'll go so far as to say it will improve the quality of your life. Because I think a day without crafting is sort of a day with something missing. At least I know that's the feeling I get if I have to stay away for any length of time. Anyway, thank you. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.